Hey ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, one and all. G'day guys. Welcome. It's always time for another edition of London Sessions. Without further ado guys, good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening. I hope you're all doing well. Looking forward to once again seeing what we can come up with moving forward here today on the gold. So we're still hovering around that 5k mark. We're pretty much at where we opened the weekly on gold. So obviously interesting times when it comes to the gold. We'll obviously do the analysis on that moving forward. We'll also take a look at any other pair as per request. But before we get underway guys, let's quickly have a look at the all important news to see if there is anything of would be scheduled, well, any scheduled news for our session here today. Not for our actual session. Obviously there was some high pack news for the Aussie dollar, with the cash rate obviously increasing as per expected. Moving forward into NY though, what we do have is just some orange fall news, so nothing major. Let's always keep a finger on the pulse with everything going on around the world guys. Anything could happen, so you need to be wary of that. Now let's take a look at the gold guys, and any charts, any questions, anything you'd like me to take a look at, please feel free to pop those in the chat. And if you guys can just quickly do me one favor, just please make sure to hit that like button and don't be shy to say g'day. Let's get the chat pumping, let's get the algorithm flowing, let's get more people onto this stream. So without further ado though, let's have a look at the gold starting at that weekly time frame. And what we can see is we are obviously back at the previous weekly, strong bearish. Current candle has a lower high, lower low to the previous candle as well. So if we were to continue bearish, there isn't necessarily much of a need for us to pop back up and break our own high. So if we did so, what would be the options for potential buys above that current weekly counter high? Let's take a look. So we go down to the daily time frame here. That's obviously the current daily counter high as well. So what we've got, the current daily is a high low, higher high. Have we necessarily tapped into a support? Well, you kind of argue we're below a support, but we are that psychological 5k level. We are respecting that level. So to me, irrespective of whether or not it's really at strong support or not, it's the fact that it's that 5k psychological round number. We remain above it, begin to break above the current daily counter high, that will likely lead to continuation and potential push back up towards that 5200 region. Onto the 4 hour time frame here, we are still technically bearish the way I see it. We are just trading within, pretty much just consolidating here in the 4 hour. We'll mark that in as the most recent. It will include, just mark that in actually, that is literally the most recent. As far as support, got two levels here. We've got a level just here. We'll just mark in for the time being the one lower down, and we'll mark something in here on the 15. So we are bearish, respecting resistance, remaining within some tight consolidation on the 4 hour. Now down to the all important M15 time frame, and that to me, let me just see. I would argue it did flip back bullish, but it's since flipped back bearish. So off the back of that, little bit of a conflicting story here. The bias is still bearish with the current daily high low high high. Off the back of that, I would use that to add confluence to any buy options. So what we're going to do is just adjust these zones ever so slightly. We'll adjust this one to the upside. It's the most recent resistance on the minor time frame here, and what we're going to do is shift that to the left and a little bit cleaner above that point. We're just going to drag that up to that point there, and now we're going to add in a minor support, which is at the current daily, the Asian range low, the current daily candles low. And what we're going to be looking for is potentially buys from that point. So let's talk about the buy options to begin guys. Again, the daily creating a high low higher high. We did pop back down even to sweep the Asian range low, only to pop back above it, form some support back above it. Now, back of that, we could potentially be looking at a buy from support. That is one buy option. Now, another buy option I would be considering, and it could happen in the next 5 minutes and 20 seconds, is the fact that what I'm seeing within the current structure within this range itself, we are forming a series of high lows. We'll look at the M30 as well. We are forming some high lows since this morning or late yesterday. Now, what we have done is just tapped into a 1 hour cluster interruption, which I'm not in guys, so don't worry, I'm not in any trades. And if we do now respect that level, what we're likely going to do is create again a higher low. within that, what we may have in the next 5 minutes, just under 5 minutes, is a bullish engulfing M15. That was to present, then I could likely take an entry, trusting that we may have just once again created a bit of a high low, and there's a good chance we could come back up to the current daily candles high. So I will keep an eye on that, guys, in the next 4.5 minutes to see if we get that engulfing close. Obviously we'll need to just wait for a new candle to create a low wick before any entry. So that is the buy options. Now looking for sells, guys, obviously upon the pullback. Now, seeing we create a lower low, flip the structure bearish, don't necessarily need to pop all the way back up to this resistance. I mean, it would be preferable. So really anywhere below it, as long as we have the right sort of confirmation to do so, we could be looking for our potential sell options. Let's just quickly look at the other time frames to see if there is any sort of interruption candle in between. Not really. You got the cluster interruption at the top here, but anyway, let's not worry so much about that. But that is what we're currently looking at, guys. So looking for potential buys in the next just under 4 minutes. I'm just going to remove these zones for the time being. Pretty simple analysis, guys. We're just going to trade the range for the time being. Hopefully it makes sense. So let's keep an eye on the gold here. And what you're going to need to do is obviously track the highest point of this candle. And we want this to engulf. I want it to be perfect because my concern is that we could still come back down to tap into the support a little bit lower down. So again, we want to close pretty much engulfing. If we get that, then we will have a potential buy signal so long as we have a low wick on the new candle. My members, let me quickly set up a link. I haven't set up the Zoom call yet. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. We'll have a look at German 40 and any other pair as per request shortly. But let's just focus on the gold while we are potentially close to a entry in the next 3 minutes. And my members, here is, in one moment. All right, here is your link for those who want to jump on. So we're focused on potential gold buys here, guys. Just keep an eye on it. I'll get to you guys shortly. Now, what we're going to have to track is stop loss. The stop loss in a minute is about 60 plus pips. So we don't want to pump too much in the next minute or two. What we really want is just for it to pretty much stop where it is. Very decent little wick, and that way we can still trust we'll use the current candle as the stop loss, the low of it, and then begin to manage it off the low wick formed on the new candle. So that's what I would be looking at. Just under 2 minutes. Tony Gold, Grand Rise to you. John Wilcock, g'day to you, mate. Big Cherry, g'day from Radio City, Mount Isa. Nice one, mate. Welcome. James, good morning to you. Valencia, good morning to you. Smash like already, John. Appreciate it. Jim, good morning to you. Michael, all good, mate. Hope you're well. And Bartman, appreciate it. So let's see, guys. What's the highest point of the current candle? One thing I haven't checked yet. 5,017.12. So I'll be looking at 5,017.45 roughly. But again, the last thing we want is for this thing to begin to reject. It's not strong engulfing. Then to me, it may not be ready. Because we're going up against a strong M30 candle, going up against a strong hourly so far. And we do still have some margin for it to potentially come down a little bit further before it bounces. So seeing we've created that low low just now, we'll flip the structure. Are we going to, basically we're going to respect this trend line is what I'm thinking at the minute. If we get that bullish engulfing close, may be enough to suggest we may just do so. It looks like we may get it, guys. Need a lower wick. Got the tiniest lower wick, but it's not sufficient enough. Want this to pull back. Doesn't have to create a massive low wick, but just give us a decent low wick so we can begin to manage it if it does trigger in and it goes against the wrong direction, obviously. So I've not set an order just yet. Again, I want it to just create a bit of a low wick here. I want to see it flip back red on my broker's chart before I set any order here. And it's just stuck. It's not doing anything. All right, flipping red. Perfect. Let's look at a 5 minute. 5 minute doesn't look perfect. Alright, it all depends on how much of a low wick we get here, because if it's a monster one, again, I'm just going to wait if that's the case. What's it now? So I actually have set the order, but I could likely be removing it just the way we are rejecting here. The 5 minute looks like we are potentially exhausting as well. So I've got an order set at 17.45, so it's about 50. Well, it's a bit more now. Yeah, I don't like this rejection. I'm gonna remove it already, guys. Sorry. I don't like this rejection. To me, it's still showing the 5 minute shows weakness. To me, it looks like it may still want to come back down a little bit further. So I'm remove the order. I'm just going to wait. I'm going to now wait and see how the 30 closes. And if this 30 can close back bullish, and within it we've got a weak 15-minute bearish candle to close it, off the back of that I may use that as my added confidence to take an entry. I just don't like the way we're rejecting just here, so I'm just going to chill for a bit longer. Yeah, let's look at 1 hour. So the 1 hour still looking like it could potentially come back down further as well. It's not quite tapped into support on the 1 hour time frame here. 4 hours, just again, it's pretty much just in consolidation. It's in consolidation below the bodies of the candles here to the left, which is a bit of a concern for any buyers, to be honest. So it's kind of between these levels here, so up towards that 5,080 roughly, between that and that 5k mark, and below, obviously below towards that 49.60. So it's a pretty much $100 area. That price is pretty much stuck within. But again, the more we loiter around this 5k, to be honest, I would, off the back of that, if we do respect the 5k, I would think there's more likely to be further upside, because again, being that psychological round number, a bit of a battle at this point. But what I'm seeing on the chart also gives me reason to think that it could potentially come back down further, because we are still respecting. Look at all these tap ins to these bodies of the candles here to the left and rejection of it. And you can argue the same thing to the downside though. A bit of a tough one, but we are dropping at the minute, so all good. Oh, to my members, by the way, wow, EU. So the analysis was sent into the members group about potential swing trade. EU is perfect, absolutely perfect. In the analysis yesterday, unfortunately I wasn't on the charts for when this actually presented, and it actually presented early into Asian session today the opportunity to take an entry, and you'd be almost at your TP1, but it looks like it probably would have tapped into TP1, but it looks like very close to it. So it's great to see that playing out. Again, this was analysis sent in yesterday to the members group for the intraday / swing trade section. We're sent in for Euro CAD as well. I've not looked at that. Here's Euro USD. It's in a downtrend. It's pulled back to an area of significance to me, a zone of significance, and rejecting. If we look at Euro CAD, I want to see what that's up to. Not quite pulled back far enough. Franco, good morning to you. Tanto, nice. Thank you, mate. What's been going on in the news of today? Obviously, we've talking about the war. You know, it's not considering diplomatic options. Rock horror. Very great. Very damaging how the Iran war is hitting energy intensive industries. Quite obvious, hitting the whole world. It's crazy times. Global GDP will probably going to decline very quickly, isn't it? With if there's no production, of certain areas have already restricted the amount of fuel you can fill up at any one time. I know in my town in Thailand, which I'll be back there next week, there's no diesel available, so I can't drive my highlights. If that's the case, there's no diesel. Runs off diesel, and they've limited the amount of ethanol to in that particular town to about 30 Australian dollars, no less, about 25 Australian dollars max you can fill up. So it's pretty tough. Laura, good day to you. Some Moscow links, good morning to you. Always good to have you there. Made today's market favor Jesus' name. Let's hope it does favor us. Need to again be consistent with our approach and do what we do best, and that is just wait patiently for the right opportunity to enter the markets. Tanto, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, but this is your last warning. Don't ask for anything on the stream, and especially sending your number. I'm sure the audience aren't daft enough to call that number. No, I'm not interested in selling it. No, at this point, it's very choppy on the 5 minute. I'd rather just see if it makes the move down. I just don't like these wicks, to be honest, to be selling into that. I know it's bearish candle wicks, and my guys will think it's not technically support them, but I just don't like it. Not at this level. be honest, I'm still very surprised with Bitcoin, the strength of it at the minute. Not sure why that's copped a bid with pretty much the indices just dropping. Obviously, Bitcoin gets compared to NASDAQ quite a lot. NASDAQ's still pretty bearish. All right, 3.5 minutes, guys. So we want this thing to close back bullish in the 30. We want this M15 to close back weak bearish. Let's use the fib here just to gauge strength. Now let's mark in a 0.382 and we'll see what it looks like. It probably needs to close a little bit above it though. So let's go to the M30. All right, that will be a bullish close. We'll leave a decent upper wick. So the safer option will be to take it as it breaks the 30-minute candle high if it does close above the 0.382 here. So let's just keep a bit of an eye on that. Some boss gone lens. Seems like YouTube's interface changed today. The like button shifted from the usual. Oh, really? Yeah, they've been doing a lot of updates. I think they've got some other. Not it's what is it? It's not the top fans. It's something else. I heard another in a comments that I listen to regularly. I always listen to the replays. So overnight my time when he streams. It's another function to show some support. I'm not sure what it is, to be honest. Can't remember, but yeah, they are changing things. Alright, so it doesn't look like it's going to be valid, guys. All right, I mean, there could be an interruption here. Has to be again, it has to be a really strong close though. Don't want to close just below. Yeah, my concern is this little 5-minute area. It's a bit of a mess at the minute. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to close strong enough either way to the downside. So this rate is still waiting. Now, next option for a buy will be a strong bullish close, preferably engulfing on the next M15. That's as simple as it is, guys. That's what we want to see. Otherwise, we're just waiting for it to pop back down. See how simple I can make it? The processor, you know exactly what you're looking for as data prints. And that's what I try to do. So there's no, well, can I enter now? Should I enter now? There's no signal to enter now. That just means there's no entry. You need to plan again what you want to see. Ask yourself, always got to ask yourself what you need to see next or want to see next in order to be interested in a trade. So for me, as I just mentioned, what I would like to see happen for me to be interested in a trade to the upside would be that, if it's happened soon, so on the next candle. Otherwise, what I want to see is price now just make the move down and see how we react to the support back in that 5k region for a potential option. And again, it's just a process of, you know, waiting for data to print. As data prints, you just reassess, and it's as simple as that. So you know right now, don't need to worry too much for the next, you know, 13 or so minutes. I'll wait and see where we're heading towards the end of this candle, and I know what my plan is already. So extremely simple. Gold Sniper, what a nice mess gold is. Same tops bottom since, yeah, has been obviously stuck in a range on especially the 4 hour, just more so consolidation than a range. Sunbox Gone Lens, can you please do a very well explained video on Fibonacci? You already have a video on it. My take on Fibonacci is extremely different to everyone else, to be honest. Maybe one day. My team know how I use it and why I use it and when I use it. Most of you by now will probably know the same thing as well. Jesse James, new to the channel, looking great. What is your main strategy, brother? Price action, mate, at predetermined levels on the chart. Pure price action. Simple as it is. There's no, I don't trade fair value gaps or anything like that. None of that. I have a edge that works for me, works around that 80% of the time. So that's what I'm currently doing, just waiting for price action to do its thing, give me a potential entry signal. I know what I want to see on this candle if I am to enter on the next candle. Without doing that, I'm just going to need to wait. So Moscow Lens, your video on Asian high and low is so effective. Mr. Justin, I have been backtesting it, but most time I do miss the move because of my schedule. But either way, it's good to see that it is work. It does work. I mean, sorry, I'm so tired, guys. I've been up since pretty much since 2 AM, and it's now 6 PM. So I've not had much sleep last night. I'm doing my best. Sorry if I mumble a lot today. But it is, and to be honest, that was something I've just come up with recently. It's just something I've noticed because we often talk about within the group how price tends to retest the Asian high or low. So I thought off the back of that, what if there was really simple, you know, edge using that theory? And for me, there is one. I mean, testing out on GUs, what we've actually tested out on in the group, and it was very effective. I know Franco's been testing out on, I think, German 40 as well. And there's been some interesting results, but so far, so good. All right, I'll let TikTok in. Glad you like it, mate. Gold Sniper, what was the news thing you mentioned yesterday? Was it a website for checking gold? Glints. So it just gives you like the latest headlines from all different news outlets from everywhere from around the world. So we've just had another one drop just now. Iran is a little unfair and is resisting. Iran is a country, a great power, enormous power. No one expected them to attack the Persian Gulf countries. We were shocked. Trump. Yeah, let's attack Iran. What if Iran attacks you, and why me? Huh? That's a bit strange, but anyway. Gas on the line. Will the Iran war squeeze India's piped gas next? There's also natural gas, which is also being restricted because of what is going on. So that's something that's not really spoken about. Yeah, so Glint, G-L-I-N-T, I'll type in the chat for you. It's a crypto thing. You can actually connect a wallet. You can actually trade the market. They've got markets about all this stuff. What do you think when the war's going to end? And quite fascinating, to be honest, but you need to connect a wallet. I've not done that. Not connecting my Telegram. I just sign in with Google account, and that's it, and just gives you the updates. That's all I use it for. Just James, what entry signals and must-haves? Many, mate, many. Just you have to tune in. So obviously, strong one for me is the bullish engulfing, bearish engulfing scenario. Pretty much what I'm waiting for just here. But I also look at things like the 5 minutes, see if we've got any resistance, which obviously we do here because we are consolidating on the M15. So closures above that would also, you know, make me feel good about the entry. Liquidity wicks to the downside. There's interruption candle entry, which again is something most of you have only heard about and learnt, or you would have only heard about and learnt from the stream, because we're the only ones, I think we're the ones that came up with it, to be honest. So there's many, mate. Caleb, you're saying sell. John, weird how a 13th century mathematician can have such an effect on our trade. The Fibonacci, yeah, true.
William Montgomery coming in.
TikTok, welcome to you guys. Hope you guys are well. Make sure to hit that little screen for me. Don't be shy to say good day. We're looking at gold here, waiting for a bullish engulfing close. If we are taking entry on the next candle, what I am seeing is within the current daily, we are forming a series of high lows. So we're kind of respecting a trend line, even though I don't use trend lines, but you can pretty much eyeball that we are. So we've tapped into the 1 hour interruption cluster candle just here. So if we can close back bullish engulfing, we're going to actually be back above that point. So that to me suggests that we may now be confirming a higher low off the back of that confirmation, and off the back of that I would look to take a buy on the next candle. If it doesn't happen, then what we still may do is come back down a little bit further, and we could potentially look for buys from that point there. If it takes off just now, there is absolutely nothing I can do about it. So that is the plan for the time being. Keys, thank you for the sticker. Carl, good morning to you, mate.
Hi all.
Josh, are you talking to us or?
Yeah, just said hi all.
Oh, g'day, mate. How's it going? Sorry, I wasn't sure if you you were just, talking to someone else in the background. All good. You've had a good day.
Yeah, not too bad.
Nice one. Nice one, mate. Taking some nice entries, man. The interruption entries doing its thing again today by the looks of it.
Yeah, a couple of ICs today, the breakout.
Yep. Yeah, breakout trade, nice one. Not taking a breakout for quite a long time, to be honest. Waiting on anything particular now as well, or?
So that last 1 hour IC failed, top one. I'm currently in the bottom one.
Are you currently in the cluster one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sort of break even if I can regain the loss on the last one.
Alright.
Yeah, that cell just, she just dumped out of nowhere, eh?
From here, yeah. I mean, it's tapped into level 2, actually, not really.
If I was actually on my PC, I probably wouldn't have taken that top IC. Because I was on my phone, I couldn't see my new indicator.
Wait, you talking about here? That would have. Where?
Yeah. On the 1 hour.
Okay, I was gonna say. I can't see.
That top
Oh,
one,
here.
just blasted straight through it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be concerned of that one because of the level it's at. I mean, it's easy to say after the fact, but it's becoming trickier to look for the interruption entries here until it actually starts to make some really clean moves again. Because to me, we're just pretty much consolidating on the 1 hour, especially the 4 hour.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to break out for a bit, but yeah, that
Yeah,
hour just rejected right down.
Strong rejection. Jesse James, do you trade NQ or ES? No, no mate. I always trade spot gold, personally. Ability pill. If I wasn't, I would not be streaming. So I think I've proven on the regular that I am, and I'm not the type of guy that takes heaps of trades a stream. Sometimes be a couple of days where I don't take a trade on stream, and nor do I care, because I just follow my plan, follow my rules. I'm very disciplined, and that's what makes me consistent and profitable. I used to do silly shit, not on stream, and not for years now, but in, you know, when I was training by myself, and I used to get absolutely wrecked. So I had a system that worked. I just need to actually execute to that system and be patient, and obviously just trade the plan. When I do so, good chance is going to be on, I'm going to be on the right end of things. So that's what I do on the regular. Been profitable for a good 5 years now. Doesn't mean you don't have losing weeks. Haven't had one this year. Had definitely had last year, and it will happen this year for sure. But doesn't mean you don't lose trades in that. But for the most part, I know I'm going to win between 75 to 85% of the time. Where you're N and 2 user. Not sure what you mean by that, but I'm looking for a bullish engulfing close here, and that's just simple, very simple confirmation I want to see if I'm to take an entry on the next candle. Ability pill, no offense taken. It's a fair question. If you want one that's honest, transparent, I'm definitely good with that. I've spoken most recently on yesterday's stream about what happens in this industry. But I've never sold out to any of those particular brokers or anything, and I do everything live. Call trades with the team. Some of the guys call trades, and I take some of those trades too because they're valid. I'm not watching the charts, but then I see it and it does tick the box. But for the most part, every single trade I take is known about. FXM, all good, mate. And do you live stream your trade? Yes, I do, but what time? I could always say no idea. I just wait for the right confirmation to enter. So at the moment, it could be in 1 minute, it could be 50 seconds. This closes bullish engulfing. So let's focus on it. We want it to close above this bearish candle high. We need a lower to form on the new candle. Entry will be above that bullish candle's high. So on my broker's chart, that highest point of this candle is 5,017.07. So a potential entry being the horizontals in place for 1517.40. Allow for spread, allow for the fact that spread could spike. Has done quite a bit of that of late with the volatility. This rate, it's not valid. Has to push here, has to close above that bearish candle high. And again, it's very simple process. It paints the picture black or white. It's not tick the box. So now let's look at the 5 minutes rejecting as well. So again, suggests to me maybe we're not quite ready, or I don't have a strong enough confirmation to trust that we're ready. So what I would do is if it starts to take off, I'd rather miss the move, because I don't have a confirmation that with all my experience would lead me to believe there's a good 80% chance it's going to be a winning trade. So I wait again. That's simply what I do. King, how do you go about risk management? I'm really strict to that too, so I don't like holding trades in drawdown. The losing trades you see me take on stream, when I do take a losing trade, I always manage it, and for the most part I cut my risk by more than half. So I'm pretty strict with management. What I like to do is use, for instance, a previous candle low if I'm looking for a buy as the stop loss, waiting for the new candle to create a low wick. I get triggered in and price pulls back to create to break its own low of the entry candle. What I might do is cut half. Sometimes I cut the full thing at that point. So I have some strict methods as to how I manage to trade in drawdown and also in profit, because by managing my trades in drawdown and not taking a full loss, it means I don't have to necessarily hit a home run each time. I can begin to secure at 20, 30, 40 pips. Just depends on the situation where we are and how clean the traffic is to the left. But I always like to keep a runner for a realistic target. So for me, a realistic target today, if I was to get a buy confirmation, would be back at pretty much the daily high. Ability pill. So are you a full-time trader? I do can trade full-time, but I do have other interests in the background. I do have another business as well. I trade the same session each day. Do look at Asian session most days, but not every day. Today I didn't really have much time for it. NY, I choose not to for the most part because of the time. Late at night for me. But with the clocks changing, I'll be trading NY a little bit more. So I do live calls with my team, usually minimum 4 up to 5 times a week, and that usually is about an hour after the stream. Tuesdays and Wednesdays are longer sessions where we'll sit and chat, and they can go up to about 2 hours, usually about an hour and a half, an hour and 15 to an hour and a half, and we actively look for trades if it does present. Jesse, do I use silver price action to trade gold? Look, the only thing I would look at is silver, but more so when I want to trade silver. I haven't done it of late, but I was recently just trying to lowball buy in on silver and just write it up. And what I do is I often focus on what levels gold we're at, and if gold was at a key level, I would, off the back of that, if silver had given me a trade signal, I would pretty much enter off the back of that. But what you find is at times silver takes the lead and will move first, and then at times gold will. For the most part, it will be gold though. So generally speaking, again, I trade gold, I scalp gold, so I don't look at anything else. I don't look at DXY. I think it's the biggest crock of shit. It doesn't always, not always the case where they're inversely correlated. It's not always the case, trust me. For the most part, you can pretty much just look at EU and know, because EU is most liquid pair away from the US dollar itself, or it is obviously a US dollar pair, but the euro is the most liquid currency other than the US dollar. But in the minute, US dollar tends to be a bit of a safe haven with all that's going on. Gold is pretty much forming support at 5k, so it's a little bit conflicting, to be honest. I never bother looking at DXY. I just don't think there is absolutely any need to. It's not necessary. Only in 15-minute candles? No. Look, you just have to watch, mate. What I would suggest to do is at the end of the stream, replay and watch the start of the stream where I go over my analysis. How I go about determining what I want to see happen to get involved. I start the higher time frames, work my way down to the 15. Also look at the 5-minute for added confluence. But occasionally it's my catalyst, but very, very rarely. Where am I located? Melbourne, Australia. But I do spend a lot of time between here and a city called Udon Thani in Thailand, right near the Laos border. Can you take your entries with Fibonacci and how? You can take your entries any way you want, but not everyone trades the same way. I use the Fib very differently. I pulled it up on the stream about 15 minutes ago, what I want to see happen, or longer than that. So you can use it. I use it differently. I use it to gauge strength of a candle, sometimes against the previous candle. but for the most part, just strength of the actual candle itself. Alright, so it looks like we may be coming down still before we head up. Let's wait and see. Just over 8 minutes remaining. Again, guys, I'm not going to be rushed to take an entry for the sake of it. I'm just waiting for what I want to see to present. Very simple. No, I'm not from the US, mate. I don't know, guys. Do I sound like I've got an American accent? Been told I don't have a really strong Aussie accent, but not everyone speaks like that, to be honest. There's nothing wrong with the Aussie accent. It's actually, a lot of people love it. Hey, SS Multimedia, I think we are consolidating now. London session will give a push up, possibly. And yes, definitely consolidating just now. So 5 minutes remaining. So what we want to see is, again, we want the 15 to close above this point. At that point there, the 5 minutes can be above the consolidation as well. That could be our catalyst. If it does happen, then this candle would suggest we once again grab downside liquidity in order to make the move up. So that's what we're waiting for, guys. We want 15 minutes now and the next 5 minutes close above this horizontal line. If that is to be the case, what we wait for is a lower wick and look to enter it on the break of the 30-minute candle high, because that will be a strong bullish candle close as well. So that will add confidence, be back above previous resistance here to the left. We'll be respecting that 1 hour interruption candle plus the interruption as well. That's another positive, and also the 5k reason. So there's plenty of confluence there, and that is exactly what I want to see. Without it, once again, no entry. Very clear cut, very simple to follow. That's how it should be. Should know exactly what you want to see. So once again, if that is to present, we don't create a higher high just here on the M30. The same entry point would be in place. So 5017.40 for me. Let's see, guys. Will we get to close above? Oh, must be a glitch in YouTube. Never seen that many people on the stream. Definitely not true. It's going up and down like crazy. It's a bit like gold minute volatility. Alright guys, let's see. We've got just over 3 minutes. We want a close above this horizontal. What it's going to do is close the 5 minute again above that point there as well. We're going to be above, once again, bodies of the candles here to the left, which lines up that cluster interruption candle here in the 1 hour. It's the confirmation we want to see. Creating a higher high, so the entry is going to have to be adjusted. Oh, it's just spiked up. Alright. Bit of volume at the minute. Just don't want to take off in the next 2.5 minutes. That is the only concern. Ogdi, wait for 94.97. You are fair value. Couldn't care less about fair value. What is fair value? Fair value is whatever anyone is willing to pay price for whatever good or service is. That is fair value. Alright, so once again, it's going to come down to the following candle and the low wick on that candle. And the reason why is we need to create that because we need a decent low wick to use that as our stop loss. Without it, what it does mean is we'll have a pretty big stop loss based off the current count. You're looking at over 100 pips, not preferable to be honest. So the highest point is 5,018.42. So potential entry 5,018.75 I'd be looking at. We really want to close preferably closer to its high, create a decent low wick, perhaps tapping into, actually it could be an early entry just there. No, I'm gonna wait, I think, for what I initially wanted to see happen. Gus, do I have a YouTube channel? Yeah, exact same profile name, mate. You can't miss it. I'm streaming live on YouTube. Feel it has to be algorithm bugging. There is no way I've got 1.7K on my YouTube stream. It's more like 50 people, 60. Then it's a superstar. I wish it was the case, to be honest. Definitely YouTube bugging. If it was true, the chat would be going crazy. Alright, 10 seconds, guys. Looks like it could be valid, but we need a decent low wick. Oh man, it's the shittest close just above, but it technically is above. We need a low wick. We get that low wick, then I'll look for a buy stop above that bullish candle high. We need it. Definitely needs to pull back to create a bit of a low wick. Not yet done so. Not set in order, guys. Not seeing it without it. It's new M30 as well. The M30 closed back strong bullish without engulfing. Alright, this is not bad too. If it pops up towards the high, even if it just breaks it and then pops back down. So I'm not, no order guys, I'm not setting order because it's not done what I wanted to see it do. Price action, current candle. But if it pops up and then pops back down, creates low wick, if we were to continue bearish, there is no need for it to pop back up and break its own high. Meantime, it's pumping. There's nothing much I can do about it. But what I was going to say is if it popped back down, there was no need for it to pop back up and break its own high. And if it did pop back up to break its own high again, what it likely would have done is just grab downside liquidity in order to make the move up. That's too far-fetched now. It's pushed too far. So once again, guys, I'm sorry, but we need to wait. John, Dubai, here we come. So always you gotta be careful because it might be someone running your stream to get. Yeah, who knows, man. I have no idea. How do you report it? That's the thing. How can you report it? I don't know, man. Gold. So it's a very strict rule of mine, guys. Prior to any entry, I need a lower wick in the opposite direction, because what you're going to see is if you look back through to the left, I would hazard to guess 95% of these candles will have wicks in both directions. Get a screenshot? I will take a screenshot. Good call, mate. It's definitely something is not right with the algorithm, because I've got like 20 likes. And gold. It's not valid as well. It's been tapped into already. Sometimes what you're going to see is you'll have the right confirmation, but just because you have the right catalyst doesn't mean it's a valid entry. So the catalyst was met, just lacking a low wick. Oh, let's get 500 likes if we do. Justin will full margin next trade. I will do that 100% because I know it's not going to happen. I'd be lucky to get to 50 likes, and no, I'm not going to full margin my account 50 likes because that is perhaps gettable. But yeah, for 500, I would. Full margin. I'll just flick across to the slide account. Still a bit of cash in it. Still some substantial cash in it. Oh, up she goes. Ugh. Was expecting that interruption, and it's expecting the high-low scenario forming within the current daily candle. Again, I did mention there was a good chance it would do that. But unfortunately, not the right tick. Or just lack one thing. Didn't tick off one box. So most score lens, it's not. There's definitely something wrong with the YouTube algorithm. There is no way I've got like 1K people watching the stream. It's definitely glitching because it's fluctuating between like, I don't know, 800 and 1.8, something like that. Arthur, good luck with that because you're getting burnt, and goodbye to you. Kingdom, anyone enter trade? Nice, $600 in the bag. No, again, mate, I was lacking one little thing, and that was the lower wick, and that's very strict of mine. I need that prior to an entry, and to the upside, I need an upper wick. I was selling it prior to any entry. John, you should have no nonsense stuff here. It's great. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. Yeah, look, I'd be happy just to crack 100 on YouTube, to be honest. A long way to go, but as you guys know, I'm still here. A lot of, you know, streamers would have given up by now, to be honest. Not me. It's not all about that. I get peanuts from YouTube. I get literally peanuts. Like every 4 months, 3 to 4 months, I get 100 Australian dollars. That's it. That's all I get. There's so many gurus out there who never stream live, but they, you know, post, go crazy about this is how I made 10K in 5 minutes trading gold or whatever it is, but they never trade live. Come join my group, you'll get screwed, you'll pay a fortune, you'll last a few months in there hoping to flip an account and all that, and I'll get a fortune from you. That's how they do it. I do things live. I upload some videos, but I just don't have time to upload heaps of videos. I would like to upload more, and I try to, but I don't upload bullshit fake videos. There's only so much I can upload as well, because again, I'm not one of those gurus who kind of full lies about how I flip this such account on this particular move or whatever. Not what I do. Jim, think your high coming into play. You said start stream. Yeah, well, high low still in play. Well, this actual trend line. Okay, can we get like an interruption here? Let's see. It's tough, guys, because I really want to find an entry for the stream, but again, what I mean by find is I want the entry to present on stream, but when it happens, if it happens, I have no idea. It will happen sometimes on stream. It will happen sometimes before the stream. It will happen a lot of the time during the Asian session, we find. It will happen after, sometimes on the members call. It will happen sometimes during MY. But again, it's my duty, my responsibility just to trade in like my plan, my rules, what works for me, and not for the sake of it, just take a trade. On their Instagram stuff is always after they start selling courses, never during their 3-year learning. Yeah, man, it's always, I fell for it. I fell for it big time. I've mentioned it before. I paid a fortune for service that was absolutely useless. Kingdom pools, nah, all good. And this thing's pumping. Jesus. Rastafari, yeah, it's definitely botted. Some or a glitch. I think it's a glitch, mate. Because if it was botted, if it would be consistently at a number, it keeps fluctuating. So definitely, I think a glitch in YouTube matrix at the minute. One day we might get there to those numbers. Apologies, guys. The Moscow lens, I think it's glitch, but we'll get there soon, Mr. Justin. This should be like a feel of what we are see soon. Number your live stream will increase massively soon. Thank you, mate. Sketchmas? Nah, mate, it's not. It's definitely something glitching on YouTube. But welcome anyway. Some Moscow lens, some knowledge, something else, not trading and not bothered. Thank you, mate. Yeah, again, it's just following the plan, knowing what will work. We did have the signal, we did have the catalyst here, we just didn't have the lower wick, and without it, I mean, how many times have I said it on stream, guys, where I've said we're waiting for a low wick, pops up, breaks, and we're saved because it ends up pulling back down to create a low wick. We set the buy stop or whatever, and it just continues bearish, and we're saved by it. So a lot of the time we're saved by having that rule and sticking to it. Yes, occasionally, I would say probably 3 times out of 10, perhaps, without knowing the exact numbers, but I would hazard a guess around 3 times out of 10, it will just make the move. But I'd rather, you know, play on the side of probability. And once again, if we were to look to the left of the chart, you really could be bothered. I would hazard guess 90 to 95% of these counts have wicks in both directions. So knowing that, then there is a 90+% chance this count would have pulled back to create a low wick and could have been stuck in drawdown had you know, jumped the gun on it. In this case, turned out to obviously not be the case. It's continued bullish, but is what it is. Nothing I can do about it. So we've got 15 minutes until London Open. Need to wait. Right in the middle of this range now. John, start a rumor you now wearing 2001 t-shirt and pierced your nose. Everyone's joined to see. Wurzel, points you, how far down would you expect the wick to be to make valid? It's a good question. It all depends. But for the most part, gold, because of the volume and the volatility on it, you would want it at least to be about a 30+ pip low wick prior to looking for an entry. That's really not that much. I mean, let's just have a look at low wick on this thing. Not looking to enter. That's 12 pips. Look, in this case, had we have had that Again, it depends, because if we pull back and create that sort of low wick and tap back into the resistance, which we would have done, I would have trusted off the back of that, because we still would have had quite a decent stop loss, because the entry would have been above the candles high. So it all depends. If we closed a bit stronger, for instance here, then I would preference the low wick pulling back a little bit further to tap into that previous level to retest the consolidation. As soon as I get that, I would buy stop the high of that bullish catalyst candle. So again, it all depends, but that's generally speaking what I like to see prior to an entry in regards to having wick in the opposite direction, and vice versa to the upside. Hopefully that makes sense. Someone else going to instant trade yesterday and it paid so much using what I learned from you. I value your knowledge here. Nice one, brother. Happy to hear it. I know quite a few of my guys yesterday had a really good day, and to be honest, I was off completely. I just didn't take a trade. I missed the move on the stream, completely missed it, because the initial move was the one I wanted to get in. I just didn't realize there was another move on the following candle. I held my hand up and admitted it to the members. I was a little bit off. Sometimes you have those days, but it could have been worse, because it could have been a losing day. It was just a nothing day. I felt like I did miss out on an opportunity, but as I mentioned on stream yesterday and with my team afterwards, in the past I would have felt a need to find an entry because I missed the move, and you know, be justified I'd have to find an entry, whereas now that's the move, I miss it, too bad. Wait for another signal. That's exactly what I do. In this case, this is the move. Not bothered at all, nor was I yesterday, but this isn't valid in the end. So I didn't miss this move. This is not a missed move, because the plan was for it to have lower wick and it doesn't have it. So to me, it's just a move that's gone without giving me the confirmation. Where's it all good? John, I had a green day also. Nice one. Lower spec, all good, mate. How are you? $27 likes YouTube. Let's try to get that up closer to the 50 mark. To be honest, what I really love is seeing at the moment, a lot of the members are really starting to progress really well, and they're taking trades without needing me to call it, because the fact of the matter is I'm not on the charts for as long as a lot of them are, to be honest. But it's great to see how they're progressing. Are you pulling back? Oh, geez, apologies, guys. UJ. Oh, okay. Interesting. Has that plan that has played out? My members were on the call yesterday. I mentioned I wanted to tap into this particular level and start to flip structure. You could argue it's a structure flip just here. Off the back of that, looks like you just possibly would have gotten the 1-to-1. it may be almost taken out, break even on the runner. But the plan looks like it probably played out quite nicely. Well, Spec, you good? Thanks for asking. Yesterday was a great day for EA trading, today not so much. Fair enough, mate. Suppose they have their moments just like manually trading. Never really played around with bots, to be honest. Mate of mine was doing bits with one, but not sure how that's going, to be honest. Right, we do have a cluster M15 interruption here. Have a look at the other time frames. Pretty much a retest of the 1 hour one. What I actually don't mind about is the fact that what we could have is the 1 hour closing back, still a bullish candle. What it could do is the new candle, it could open up, create slow wick, tap into that 15-minute cluster interruption candle, and flip bullish off the back of that. So we still could have an entry here in about 6.5 minutes, guys. Again, off the theory that the hourly is going to close bullish, and also that we could just be creating another high low to head back up once again. So that is what we may be waiting for in just over 6 minutes time, guys. We could have a cluster interruption M15 entry here on the gold. Now, depending on your broker's chart, that would be on my chart, it's 5,015.71 to be exact. I mean, it's valid right now. You could place the order just now. To be honest, if it taps in, it taps in. Tap in anticipation that the alley is going to bounce off it. It is valid. You're going to have a wider stop loss though. That's the fact of the matter is you're going to have your stop loss below that bearish candle low. Alright, so got a valid entry, guys. Now, if it's not tagged in prior to session open and it closes very close to the interruption, as I've done in the past and with good reason, and it's turned out to be the right decision, I will remove the order. Because what could happen is the London Open candle could create up wick, drop very fast with the volume momentum, and push straight through the stop loss. So happened a few times over the past month. So I've actually got an order set in a minute, guys. 5,015.71. Stop loss is set for 5,008.45. Now, if it closes like this, it's not bad, because what we're going to have is the 1 hour closing strong bullish. And again, it could be the low wick of the new hourly that could tap in. And we'd be looking for it to bounce off. Well, spec, well, in some cases they are better, but in some not so much. I'm sure. Black Angel 5015. Well, for me it's 0.71, the exact high of that bearish candle. So expect ATR 9.4. Not much volume at the moment. That's fair enough. Linus, thank you for sharing the live. Appreciate it. Where's all? What does the indicator do? Is it just to show star candles indicator? What this is to show interruption candles. So this is something Josh over here has come up with, the indicator for the interruption. For the most part it's correct, but not for everything. But that's all good. But it definitely does help to have it, because sometimes I don't see it presenting. It doesn't pick up the cluster by the looks of it though. So there is 3 different types of interruption entries. It's all documented in my course. There's the continuation, which is my favorite. That is when you have engulfing straight after the pause candle and price pulls back, tap in on the following candle. Then there's the delayed entry, where you'd be trending from support, for instance, and then you've got one candle, not multiple candles, one candle closing the opposite direction. Price continues bullish and eventually pulls back to tap into the delayed interruption. Then there is the cluster candle interruption, which is this one here, where it's sort of formed support and consolidation, and you're got the entry in anticipation. Price will pull back to that point and bounce off it. Now, for the most part, it's really strong on the higher time frames. That's just a brief overview of the interruption entry. Tick, tapped and OTE as well. Yeah, fair enough. So let's look at the hourly here. Again, looking strong. So we're looking pretty good, to be honest, guys. I actually quite like this potential entry. If it pumps at the open, I'll probably just remove it, because it's likely not going to happen anytime too soon. I'm not going to look for the continuation. Some might. I can understand that. That entry would be on the break of the high of the weak bearish candle. Stop loss would have to be below the bearish candle's low. And what you want to see is a decent low wick prior to it. So similar to what we're looking at here. And you could look for that entry, but I'm going to focus on the cluster interruption here. So there are your 2 options, guys. Telling you the one I'm looking at. So that one there is going to have quite a wide stop. So sorry, 15.71. Let's see, got just under 30 seconds. T-Bone, I've got a limit order set already. $10 seconds until market open. Yeah, Ali's closing strong. This is good. This is, in my opinion, this is really good. So we've got the order set in anticipation. New Ali's going to pull back to create a low wick. We want to tap into that level there, which is the 15-minute interruption cluster level, and bounce off it. Oh, let's see. All good. T-Bone, all good. Ooh, looks like we may try to rip to the upside here. It's the first minute of London Open, guys, so let's wait and see. Oh, looks like a quick rip. technically, the way I see it is technically very, very impulsive to buy stop the high of that candle. Not quite tick the box for me for that entry. So again, I'm still waiting for the buy limit potentially. And again, it's using just my knowledge, using my tools to my strength. So here, this is how I use the fib for people who've asked before to gauge strength of a candle. So to me, this suggests that it's a little bit stronger than what I would have liked. I would have liked this candle to close about above the 0.382. What that would then suggest to me is that perhaps we'll grab some downside liquidity in order to make the move up if price begun to break the high of that bearish candle. But to me, it's closed below 50%. Technically, if it closes 50% or so between 50% and the 0, obviously, then it's valid. But if it's closing back bearish, then obviously it's got to kind of close between 0.236 and below. So spec 19.3 pips and latest candle ATR at 8.95. Yeah, so it's still really, there isn't a great deal of volatility at the minute, not a great deal of volume. So I mean, for pushes, it should leave at M15. I see, yeah, that would be interesting for sure. 100%, that would be interesting. And that's something, again, I mentioned a little bit earlier, other than waiting for a catalyst from a particular level. The only other thing I would consider is if we have an interruption present, and that could, again, could be very interesting. That presents shortly. So if that is to be the case, what we mean is if this closed, for instance, something like that, we've got an interruption, continuation interruption off the back of that at the high of the bearish candle. So that would look like this. Buy limit the high of that bearish candle, and it's a special bounce off it, make the move up. We'll see. Could be options. Alright guys, I'll be back in just one moment. Right. That's better. We're back to 63 viewers. That's alright. It's alright on YouTube. 63 is not bad. So the glitch is fixed. So those of you on stream, if you haven't hit the like button, please do so. We're currently waiting for a buy limit on the gold or a potential, what we call continuation interruption in 10 minutes from now. Glass up? No. It says here I've got a buy limit. To the new sub. It's TikTok. You guys should think about jumping across the YouTube stream. Good reasons for it, because sometimes I don't stream on TikTok, and also I start the stream later on TikTok, usually about 20 minutes to half an hour later. And TikTok are a lot stricter, so sometimes I get restricted. So think about it, it's the exact same profile name. I'm live on YouTube at the minute, plus you get the full screen, you get to see the price scale and all that. There you go, having that simple rule about this candle using a fib to suggest this candle closed a little bit too strong, bearish. He's saving me some drawdown at the minute. Roster, it's, yeah, it is, but it's a good way to you know, get your name out there, get the brand out there. If I've now priced down and trigger a buy limit, still valid? Yeah, it is. It is, mate. Still valid on the cluster interruption either way. Plus, what you could do on this one is just get to break even pretty quickly. And often what we see these sort of entries is they tend to bounce off them very quickly, to the point where sometimes it reacts and instantly pops up 40 pips or so. It happens quite regularly. So if you've got an EA toolkit like what I use, you can quickly just press stop loss to break even, secure partials, and that's the job done. Leave the runner. Alright, trying to come down over here, so getting close. Bit of volume. To be honest, I don't mind this volume, because again, often when we get this sort of volume, when it does react, it reacts very quickly, and this is the level I would like it to react to. But we'll see, because now it's flipping back bullish. Just under 5 minutes, guys. For the continuation interruption to be valid, this has to close strong, bullish, engulfing. Googles, I'm seeing sales at 5,034. Okay, fair enough. Not really doing much of anything in a minute. Just under 2 minutes left for this candle to close and pretty much at our open. We'll just wait and see still. Just give me just 2 seconds, guys. Gotta quickly pop something in the oven. Alright, 1 minute remaining for this count's close, guys. Hello, sir. Hello to you. No, I cannot. For XM account. If you can't afford $100 to pay for fund your account, then you shouldn't be trading. That's the honest truth. Alright, so it's still valid. We're not closing right near it, so it's alright. I'm not removing the order. Sammy, sells didn't tap support. Do you think it's the reason why it's stuck? You mean hasn't quite tapped into the 5k region again? I mean, potentially, but what it's doing within what I mentioned earlier, within the current daily, is on the minor time frames here, it's formed a series of high lows. So it looks like it could be respecting that, but now it's starting to coil up a little bit more as it reaches the apex again of the resistance up ahead. So it could be likely building up a bit of volume in order to make the next move. But that could be, it still could happen. That's the risk that I will run if I'm triggered into the limit order. If I keep it in. And it could still come back down further. Slim, g'day to you. Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream, mate. One I keep my eyes on, the 15-minute plus the interruption here on gold. So I've got a buy limit set. Set, nice one. Answer, nice. Thank you. Chemist, do you think we should sell? If you have a self signal or reason to do so. But personally, no, I'm not looking for a sell at the minute. But I'll expect 6.9 pips as latest candle. Don't intrusive with this comments, just say and I will stop. No, it's all good. There's one way to solve this problem. There you go. Luke, I'm not actually in it. I'm waiting for it to perhaps, it would potentially trigger me in. So it's off again. It's off something we call the interruption. It's in this case, it's the cluster interruption. I hide this bearish candle. So if you watch the stream regularly, you probably know why I've got this entry set and you know what I'm talking about when I talk about the interruption entry. But otherwise, just tune into streams regularly and you'll start to pick up on things, the way I go about it. It's got nothing to do with fair value gap or anything like that. I don't trade fair value gaps. Pretty much just the way I trade price action, basically, is what I do, to be honest. Luke, sorry, fairly new to trading. Price action is just highs and lows predicting. Price action is simply the way these candles print. So looking for particular signals within the way these candles are printing in order to give me a valid entry. So what I do is I like for it to happen at predetermined levels. This one, you could argue, hasn't, but why I'm still interested in it is because there's a few reasons. It's above the psychological 5k mark, which we've pulled back to multiple times early today. Plus, what I'm seeing within the current daily candle is not that I ever use trend lines, but just eyeballing what I can see is we're creating some steady higher lows here. So we may have just, well, we pretty much have confirmed a higher low. And if we did pull back again, we could create another higher low. And a level where I'm seeing price could potentially pull back to is what we call the interruption candle, which is this one here, the high of it, this bearish candle. So yeah, it's not trying to predict highs and lows. It's all about the way these candles are printing and waiting for the right confirmation. So for instance, if price popped up to this resistance, and if I was looking to sell it, which most people would be from resistance, sometimes it doesn't mean I will though, but it just all depends, because if structure is extremely bullish, I'd wait for a buy option. But for instance, the type of signal I'd want to see at this point would be, that was to present, for instance, something like this to present, not that. Bearish engulfing at the resistance. That simple price action at a predetermined level. There's the entry on this candle. So it breaks the low of what is the catalyst. So there's many different ways to go about it. But that's what I mean about when I talk about price action. Gold is pumping. And so you're on the borderline, mate. You're pretty much crossing that border. So just be very careful with your messages in the chat. I'll remove that last one. I have one rule when it comes to these streams: you're not allowed to come on to my stream, promote your own group or whatever it is, or service. Not sure if that's what you're doing, but it's starting to seem like you are. So just be very careful. If you mention it again, I'm just gonna boot you from the group and ban you from my stream. So that's just how I roll. No bullshit. That's the rule for everyone. Luke, all good. Spec EA just opened by. It's funny how they work though, because it could be in the middle of nowhere and I would not look for a buy. It doesn't mean it can't work, but I know they run off very different formulas, obviously. Oh, what's going on, Lance? Well, yeah, it's pulling back a bit in a minute. Sauce Peter Rockcole. Sorry about butchering your name. Hello, Sauce Peter. Yeah, watching from Kenya. Nice one, mate. Welcome. So let's wait and see this candle closes. It's getting to the point where I'm gonna have to end the stream soon so I can actually make my dinner and be ready for the members call. But I'm still gonna have the limit order set so you guys know exactly where I'm looking to enter. If you're paying attention, you should know anyway. But let's just wait and see how this candle closes. Spec, his strategy seems valid. See you around. Nice one, mate. You take care, and yeah, catch you around. Alright, we're currently rejecting popping back below support, so there's still a good chance this thing could get triggered in. But like I mentioned before, the last thing I want to see is if a candle close like this without triggering into the trade. So if it closed, for instance, like that, strong bearish right near the low without triggering in, my concern would be that could create an upper wick and it just drop straight through. And it's happened a few times. About 3 or so weeks ago, a month ago, and I didn't take the trade. I removed the order because of that, the fear of that happening. And on both occasions that actually did happen. So as long as it doesn't do that, the trade is still valid, irrespective of whether or not I'm on stream. So I'll stick around to see how this candle closes, but I'll likely have to get moving shortly. But once again, you guys should, if you're following along, you should know what I'm looking at. Buy limit. I have this bearish candle. Dropping pretty fast just now. Let's see. Let's see if it can trigger in just now. It'd be fantastic if it just quickly drops, triggers in, bounces. Let's break even quickly. Don't want us to close strong engulfing, because then we're going A.C.T to the upside. But trading into this A.C.T would make no sense. There's no margin. Alchemist, no, I've got the buy limit set. I've been over what I'm looking at. Just slim, you give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day. That's it. And if you teach a man a fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. It's a good old saying, as it says. It's exactly what it says, I mean. Come on, gold. Alright, so it's still going to be valid. Not closing strong bearish engulfing without tagging in. So for me, the order's still there. Order is still there, guys. So again, what I'm looking at is price tap into this interruption, the cluster interruption here in the M15. What we're doing is within the current daily is creating a series of higher lows. So if that is to continue the trend, then once again, we did have the previous hourly close back bullish. Could be just low wick forming for the new hourly. Be nice if it did trigger in pretty quickly, so I could bounce and flip back bullish quickly to close this 1 hour candle back bullish. May not happen though. But that's pretty much what I'm looking at. So the buy limit is set at 5,015.71. Stop loss is back below the interruption candle low. And that is what I'm looking at. Otherwise, guys, I really need to start to make a move. Good luck. Do trade safely. And as I mentioned, if it doesn't trigger in, but it closes something like this, I just remove the order. I wouldn't bother. That is the one thing I don't want to see prior to it being triggered in. So that is what I'm looking at. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, guys. Well, we'll be back tomorrow. Be back at the same time. My members, keep an eye on this trade. I'll be back with you guys in probably about an hour or so. Okay. I just follow my plan. If you don't like it, no one's twisting your arm to take trade. FOMC tomorrow. Yep. Ahmed, limit buys ranging from daily open to yesterday's low. Stop loss yesterday's low. Small lots. Fair enough. What is your stop loss? I've got it set at 5,004.45. 5,008.45. Sorry, not 5,004. So that's it. All right, guys. Well, take care. I'll catch you all tomorrow. Members, I'll catch you guys soon. And yeah, have a good one. Trade safe, team. Bye, guys.